Hello and welcome back to Factory Town. In our last episode, we designed this large bakery here that is making bread at an accelerated rate using the recipes and trying to achieve a balance of what we can to provide enough bread to 100 houses eventually. But I want to look at that because I did some searching on the wiki, and assuming the wiki is still up to date, I have some additional information. The first piece of additional information is this, is this happiness boost on the house. It's on the buildings themselves. So, for example, here, this number here, plus 160, the maximum we can get is plus 300. And that's if we have all 50 categories of items. There being 3, 6, 9, 10 here. And then, actually there's 10 in each building. We don't have the other two buildings yet, but all of those items, there being 50 total categories times 10, or times 100 houses is 5,000%. 5,000%, or 5,000 happiness rather, gives you a plus 300% boost on a building. But the other piece of information that I found out when I was searching through the wiki is the time that these items take to consume happiness, or to be consumed and cause happiness. So each item has a different tier, and unfortunately the tiers aren't shown here, which is kind of weird, but I guess that's the way that it works. But a grain is tier 1, flour is tier 2, bread is tier 3. So grain is consumed in 20 seconds, and then for 10 seconds after the item is consumed, we have happiness. Flour is consumed every 25 seconds, or in 25 seconds, and then it has a happiness for 25 seconds after consumption. And then bread is consumed for 30 seconds, and it has 50 seconds of happiness after consumption. So you can see that this one has a total of 30 seconds per item to maintain happiness. This one has a total of 50 seconds, and this one has a total of 80 seconds per item to maintain the happiness. I would like to maintain the consumption as well, or at least something close to it. But I obviously want to maintain the happiness because that's what gives us our boost and keeps that production going. But I don't want to get to the point where it's jittering back and forth. So let's look at one individual house quickly here. And we can see these items, the happiness here going down and then starting over again. And we're consuming berries here because that's the one that's highlighted. We're consuming berries here. So berries are a tier, you find them. They are a tier 2. So they're consumed every 25 seconds. And then the happiness lasts for 25 seconds. Another example here would be eggs. Eggs are tier 1. So they're consumed very fast. And then when that falls off, then like this is falling off with the bread, now this is coming down, and once that reaches 0, that's that second timer. So for the bread, if we wanted to maintain as much bread as possible, then we need to have 1 bread per house every 30 seconds. So that's 100 bread every 30 seconds, which is a lot. But the other thing that I learned is the steam boost here is multiplicative. So if we provide steam to this kitchen, for example, this kitchen's going to eventually have a 300% happiness boost. So that makes it a total of 400% speed. And then the steam boost multiplies that by 1.5, increases it by 50%, which means a 600% speed boost for the kitchen. And that means that we can make 6 bread every 4 seconds instead of just 1. And if you do the math on 6 bread every 4 seconds, which is, 1.5 bread per second, then, and compare that to the 100 bread every 30 seconds, which is like 3.33 per second, that means we need just a little over 2 kitchens to provide enough bread to feed 100 houses. and maintain the full food market, to maintain the full of both of these, just over 2 kitchens. So I think if we make 2 kitchens, then that would be 12 items every 4 seconds, because it's doubling this, and basically 1200% speed every 4 seconds. So 12 items every 4 seconds, which is 3 items per second, which puts us at satisfying completely 90 houses. So we'd be at 90% of the houses consuming all the time, which should be just enough, which should be more than enough, rather, to keep the happiness boost at 100% and keep this at 90%, which I think I would be happy with. So let's take down half of all of this. Long story long here. Let's take down half of all of this, and let's rearrange some of these grain mills maybe so that they go like this, because we probably are going to have to we're probably going to have to do multiple shoots per item, given that production speed. So let's do this, but we're going to have to reverse engineer the whole thing to figure out how much we actually need. Oops. Nope. There we go. And it looks like the barns are full. Let's upgrade each barn a little bit and get some more wood collecting. They've collected quite a lot, though, but each of these trees is like average of like 35 to 40, so it doesn't take long to fill these barns up with that. So if each of these kitchens is going to be consuming 6 times the resources listed to provide 6 times the output, actually, yeah, 6 times, because it's plus 300, so that's 400%, and then multiplied by 1.5 for the steam. That means that we need to have 12 flour every 4 seconds. That's 3 flour per second, which is probably going to be at least 2 shoots. Now, the same thing happens here. We're going to produce 6 flour every 4 seconds here. So that means that we need 12, so we still need 2 grain mills. And that's the thing that makes this game a little bit different than like Factorio, for example, is in Factorio we have productivity modules, which means that, you know, an item of output starts requiring less and less input. This game doesn't have productivity modules. And actually that might be interesting, if I doubt he is, but if the developer happens to catch this episode, that might be an interesting thing to change for the Steam booster. Instead of it being a speed boost, to make it a productivity boost. Even if it takes the speed down a little bit, kind of like Factorio does with the productivity modules, even if it takes the speed down a little bit, I think that would be advantageous, because then you could, instead of requiring 12 grain to make, or 2 flour to make 1 bread, maybe you require like 1.5 flour to make 1 bread. And to me, that would be a little bit more beneficial. I mean, it's definitely space saving, but to me, it would be a little more beneficial than having this be completely absurd. I'm gonna put a worker back in here because we're gonna fire up this whole half, I think. So, given that, I don't know that we need multiple farms, or more than 2 farms anymore, but let's do the math on that too. We're probably gonna need multiple shoots, either way. And these can probably get moved up if I press the right buttons. But not too close, because I want to be able to squiggle belts or shoots through there. So if we need 12 grain every 4 seconds, that means we need both of these, because they produce 3 grain, or I'm sorry, 12 flour. They produce 1 flour every 4 seconds times the 6. That means that they produce, because these are steam boosted as well, that means that they produce 6 grain every 4 seconds, 6 flour every 4 seconds, and so we need 2 of them because we need 12. And so I think I'm going to have 2 shoots per grain mill going into the kitchen. And then the grain mills themselves are going to need 18 grain. Holy crap. 18 grain each going into the grain mills every 4 seconds, which is 4.5 per second. So we're probably going to need 2 chutes, maybe even 3 chutes each for that as well. And that's per each grain mill. At least 2. So let's start planning out these chutes. If I take like this, and let's get this whole thing wired up. And then we have, I'm just going to do 3, I think, because I think we'll need it. Those can go in there. Those can go in there. And maybe I should move, yeah, I should. This would be insane if I didn't do this. All right, Wally, press the right keys. Let's move this over by 1, because then I can take these as straight chutes, and then these can just be little L-shaped ones. And then I think I will move this kitchen over by 1. I'm going to change these as well, I think. We're going to need faster belts, too. We're going to need to use metal belts for this. And I'm going to move this one over by 1 for later, because that'll be in line, and then we'll move this one over by there. Alright, so we need chutes here. Go there, there, and then you can go this way. And likewise. Likewise. And then we'll have 2 chutes going from here to here. So let's do I need these to be elevated? I don't think so, because I'll probably bring the coal in on this side, but that can be elevated. And then this goes there. That goes there. No, this one goes there. No, that's right. This one doesn't go anywhere. This one goes here. And these guys are full again. Maybe I should do multiple barns instead of wasting a bunch of resources on that. Especially now that we don't need as much of this space as originally thought. But come over here. I think I'll just delete that herb bush. Yeah. Alright. So that's that. We need to obviously put in a bunch of farm tiles here, but we also are going to need to have maybe just 1 metal conveyor belt. I mean, this way. If not, we can always add a second one later. It won't hurt. Now maybe I'll put the fuel through here since the kitchen's... since it's going to eventually come out of the train station. Alright, so let's build the farm tiles now. I don't know how many of these I'm going to need, but probably a lot. I suppose the math would be possible to calculate, but at this point of the game, it's not going to be what it will be eventually. Although I guess we could calculate it for the end game and then go from there. I don't know how fast the grain grows, though. I suppose that's something I could find out. Let's put in a well over here. So we talked about this in some of the chats, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow myself to do small amounts of terraforming where it's kind of appropriate, like that. For putting in things that need to be connected to the water along the coastline when there's a small hill here like this. So we'll connect that like that, and then BE, fluid pipe, and I forgot to go into the fluid pipe overlay. That'll go here. I wonder if we can tell how fast the grain is going to grow. Or I wonder if the wiki tells us. When planted on a farm tile, grain's base grow time is 80 seconds. So then obviously water and fertilizer mean that we can grow one grain, or water at least means that we can grow one grain. Since water boosts by 100%, that means that it cuts it down to 40 seconds. And then each grain crop produces between 6 and 8, with an average of 7. So that means we can get 7 grain per tile if we provide fertilizer eventually. Then that would be 3 times the growth speed. So 80 divided by 3 is about 26 seconds. So we can get 7 grain every 26 seconds. And we need to have... I forgot what the number was now. We need to have 6 times, so it's 20 or 18, 36 every 4 seconds. That's 9 per second. So, well, first off, 9 per second means we need 18 workers in this farm. So that actually can't happen. So we need to change this. Okay. I didn't think about that. I guess I should have done this math too. The most amount of workers we can have in a building is 10. That means 10 grain every 2 seconds, which is 5 grain per second. We need... Per grain mill, we need 18 every 4 seconds, which is just about 4.5. So it is still one farm. It's one farm per grain mill. It's basically it. But so we need to readjust this stuff. So I will. But in a moment, because we need to be able to say, if we're providing fertilizer, which I assume we're going to eventually, then we can grow 7 grain on average every 26 seconds. And that means that we need to have about 4 grain tiles to make 1 grain per second. We'll say 4 just for posterity. And then we need to have 18 grain every 4 seconds, which is 4.5 per second. And we can get 1 per second in 4 tiles. So we need to have 4 times 4.5. We need to have 18 tiles. Well, that's interesting. So 1 tile of grain, 1 tile of fertilized and watered grain on a farm tile is equal to 1 here. So that's actually not very many farm tiles. Only 18. But now I need to dig all this crap up. Because I need to rearrange this. All this goes up too, because it's not right. The good thing is, once we figure out this math, it'll be easier for other setups. It's just a matter of getting everything balanced properly to start the game. And then of course we need to do this now because they're all here. Alright, and this barn's full again. We can take the plank one, I guess. At least. So each farm needs to have enough space to plant 18 grain, which isn't a lot. Isn't a lot at all. In fact, these could even kind of overlap each other, like this, and it would probably be enough. The only potential issue is that these 2 in the middle are overlapping an awful lot. So maybe I can move these outer ones out a little and like evenly space them somehow. Let's see. What if I did it like this? The lines are all wonky. There, there, there. I think that might work, and then have this one be here where the trees are right now. So then in that case, we want to have something here, there, and there. And then this one can come up like this. Something like this. And then we need shoots going like this. And then like that. I think that'll work out okay. And I have to do this one manually. Like that. And then this one can go straight. And this one can go straight, but we'll have to do some working on it. And then I want to go there. This goes here, and then we need a grabber, of course. Okay. So you're grain, and we'll check them both. Stop. Well, there is a sweet spot in the middle of the checkbox. If you miss it by a little bit, like... Oh, no, I'm not missing it. Okay, whatever. Check them all. And then what I want to do is prioritize on these 12 tiles here. Like that. Because those are the 12 tiles that all of them have, except this one doesn't because of the slope. I'll just take that. And then we need to have 6 more each. I'm going to plant like this, where they're overlapping a little. And I think that'll work out well. I think. And this one needs to have that like that. I think that's a good amount. I think. If I'm doing everything right, it is. Which... And then we'll deal with that last one when the time comes. Alright, so now I need to redo the pipe with the well here. Pipe overlay. Alright. Why? There we go. Pressing the wrong button, that's why. And we're going to need to have more wells. Which maybe this one should have come from that side. But I think I will... Okay. That's good. And then let's go back in a pipe overlay. Do this. And they obviously need to get it all watered first. But once they get it all watered, I think the maintenance will be okay. It's just that first surge of water. Okay, so this is backing back up again. So we need to produce 18 grain, which means we need 9 workers in each. But I don't have enough population. But I don't really need 9 workers yet, because there's no way we're going to consume all of this. So, and then these obviously are going to still need steam boosted. But I think that's the layout that we want to have. Now I just need to take a chute here and go like this. And then here also out of this barn. And then supply that as fuel for right now. Oops. And we should be making bread. Excellent. So, unfortunately... Holy crap. Well, again. Maybe I should have connected these via a chute system. Like that. So that I could connect them all and not have to worry about workers and such. Do one more there. There. And then we'll do like this, I think. Okay. So the next thing that we want to make. That was one. We have one item made now. But we did a lot of preparatory work on how to design this. Eggs should be a little bit simpler. So eggs are produced at a pasture. Which means we're going to need more grain to make more animal feed. Which means we're going to want proximity to water again. Maybe we could just do it across the street here. Because I'm kind of thinking, like, food-related stuff would all probably need to be in the grasslands, just logically, and maybe I'll do most of my metal stuff out in the desert, sort of logically. That's a large area that this is taking up just for one item. This might not end up working out as well as hoped or planned, but we'll see. Maybe I should have done the infinite map. So let's see. Eggs. So eggs, if we go back to that list, eggs were item level quality tier 1, which means that we need an egg every 20 seconds, between 20 and 30 seconds. So let's build a pasture. And egg needs to have water provided. So ideally these would be on the coastline. We need an egg every 20 to 30 seconds times 100. By default, this is 1 egg every 3 seconds. So that's 6 eggs every 3 seconds, which is 1 egg every half second. And we need to produce 100 eggs every 20 seconds, ideally, which is 5 eggs per second. And we'll be able to produce 2, so we need 2.5 of these. Now, if I did only 2, that would be 4 eggs per second, which would only provide... Wait a minute. 2 of these would be 2 eggs per second with all the boosting. Oh wait, these are pastures. We can upgrade these differently. How far can these upgrade? A lot. Each upgrade gives us 50% boost. So I can turn, and I was doing the math wrong. So I can turn, if I do this 4th upgrade, which is the Earth Crystal, which I don't know what comes after that, but if I do the 4th upgrade, then that means that this becomes, instead of, that was 260? So the two upgrades was 520. This is that one, so that means that we're at 260 times 3, which is 780. But at 400% times 3 is 1200. That means we're producing 12 eggs every 3 seconds, which is 4 per second. And we needed to have 5 per second. So we need 2 pastures. Maybe this goes here. Let me copy this one. And that should give us enough of a surplus. Can't afford the stone. We just burned through a lot of stone. So we need 2 of these. So we need 12 animal feed every 3 seconds. So 4 animal feed per second. Which means a grain mill. Wait, is that 12? Yeah, it's 12. 12 per 3, that's 4 animal feed per second. This produces naturally 1 every 2 seconds. With the 600% speed bonus that we can get with the steam booster, that means that it's 6 every 2 seconds or 3 per second. We need 4 per second. Of course we do. So that means we need 2 of these steam boosted. We must have an issue with stone. Yeah, it's gone. Oops. That's going to be a problem very soon for making more belts, too. Let's see. So this can go. This can go. This can all go. Don't need any of those paths anymore, but yeah. Let's take this out. Put a barn in here. I need more stone to build a barn. Okay, can I take out enough stone via that process? Yes, I can. That goes there. This goes here, and just fill it up. I don't care. Just fill it up. But I probably should set one of these as an input so that we get some buffer. And I'm going to have to set up a new stone mason that I can somehow get stone over here. Because we're going to burn through this in no time. We're over here. We're over here. Okay. So these 2 should provide more than enough grain for this one pasture because it needs 12. Each of these is going to provide 12 every 2 seconds, so that's 6 every second each, which is 12 every second combined. Which means that actually that is 12. Why did I not get that? I don't know. I turned that one off, that's right. So that means we need to have the same thing. 9 workers in a farm providing... No, we don't need that much. Because the 9 was to make 18, so we need 6 workers in a farm. And this is slow. We don't need this many workers. Because... this isn't making that much right now. So I'm hesitant to even have that many workers showing up there because... okay, we'll leave it at 2. I should probably somehow make a note to myself that this needs to be 9 workers. So we're going to need 2 farms, each with 6 workers in them. Because we have 9 workers to provide 18, so we need 6 workers to provide 12. So I think what we'll do is set that up next time. And we'll have also eggs being made in large amount. And then we can work on whatever comes next, although I think we'll have to take a small detour and figure out what we're going to do about stone temporarily, since we consumed all of our stone over here. So thank you all for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.